Welcome to Expert Insights. I'm talking today to Lisa Kervin, who is Director of Research at Early Start and holds a number of other roles, one of those being within the Centre of Excellence for the Digital Child. So today we're going to be talking about the Centre of Excellence for the Digital Child. It's quite a mouthful, isn't it, Lisa? So welcome. This is such an exciting project thing. It's not really a project, it's enormous, isn't it? So can you tell us about the Centre of Excellence for the Digital Child?
Sure. Well, it's taken us some time to get to this point. We started conversations a number of years ago as we thought about what it is that we needed to do in this space. And certainly we never predicted that we'd be launching the centre at the tail end, hopefully, of a pandemic, which has really put into the forefront of people's minds the importance of technology, particularly in the lives of children, their families and their educators.
Yeah. So that is, it's really needed right now is research and an understanding of children in this digital world. I think there's lots of different kind of moral obligations here. The digital child and the digital world is here to stay. So what is the hope with this Centre of Excellence?
So the reality is that many children have a digital footprint way before they're even able to make a decision about whether or not they want a digital footprint. So if we think about things from medical records to parents uploading photos of their very first ultrasound through social media. So there is a digital presence in the lives of many children and their families from the beginning. So we think that we have a responsibility to really think about what that actually means, particularly in those early childhood years. So the centre itself is focused on looking at the healthy child, the connected child and the educated child. So those are our main three areas, and each of those areas is held together by a longitudinal study which will investigate the lives of 3,000 Australian families.
In the digital world, I suppose, isn't it? That's the primary focus.
Yeah.
Now this is a collaboration of a number of universities. Who's involved in this?
So QUT, Queensland University of Technology, is the lead institution. Susan Danby is the director of our centre. UOW is involved, and Sue Bennett in our faculty is the deputy director of the centre, and I am one of the co-leads of the educated child, and Sue's also involved in the connected child. And then the other institutions that are also involved include Curtin University, Deakin University, University of Queensland and Edith Cowan University. So I think I've got all six.
Covering the whole of Australia there,
yeah.
Which is absolutely fantastic. Not Tasmania by the sound of that, but I'm sure that Tasmania will of course be in the conversation. So with regard to this, this collaboration and the work that is going to be done, what exactly is going to be, what's the hope of what this will achieve?
Well, we have quite a detailed program of research, and one of the really nice things about a Centre of Excellence is that it's funded under the linkage scheme. So that enables us to bring a whole range of partners, industry partners, community partners to the centre itself. So we have the support of a number leading tech companies, a number of important cultural institutions, and certainly some of the backbone of media in our country as well.
Okay, now you're specifically involved in the educated child, the research program within that. What will you be investigating?
So one of the really nice things about the Centre of Excellence is our build-in of living laboratories. So it sounds a little bit intriguing, I'm sure, but
sounds exciting.
At UOW, our living laboratory will be the Children's Technology Play Space. And that's a really exciting initiative because we're able to make really strong connections to our early start group and our discovery space in itself, and create a purpose-built space where children will be able to come and experience a whole range of different forms of technologies. But equally, our industry partners will be able to come and work alongside us and children to help inform the decisions that they're making around the sorts of products and experiences that are available to children. So I think one of the really nice things about having a Centre of Excellence of this size is that we will be the go-to place for industry, for families, for community as a whole to find out about how to make the best possible decisions for children and technology.
And it is such an unknown landscape, isn't it, that decision making around technology, around how children engage with the digital world. And it's a transition time as well, because it's been such a, speedy move into the digital world. Families feel variously worried, over-engaged, under-engaged, and we really have to make a lot of decisions around those things. What can people sort of take comfort in knowing that this research is going to be done, and the sort of decisions that they are making?
Well, I think the really valuable thing about the centre is it's interdisciplinary. So there's a range of expertise that comes to the forefront, everything from educators themselves to child psychologists to occupational therapists. So there is enormous diversity in the skill set amongst our different researchers. And if we have a look at the CIs and AIs, so our chief investigators and associate investigators here at UAW, there is such a wealth of talent that we are bringing to the centre, which is really going to position UAW as a really integral partner to the centre moving forward.
And with so many different universities involved, there is actually a physical space, as you mentioned, for some of the research that's happening. What does the physical space of the centre look like?
Well, each of the universities becomes a hub for the centre, and so the different universities have interpreted that in different ways. But here at UAW, we will have the purpose-built children's technology play space. I believe we're actually sitting in it right now.
But it's not. It hasn't got anything in it specifically
soon
at the moment. Yeah.
Soon to be refurbed.
Yeah.
And within the Early Start building itself, we're going to have offices for our research fellows who will be coming on board really soon. We'll also have some meeting rooms, imagining lots of industry partners will want to come down and work with us, and some hot desk facilities as well, because we'll be doing a major recruitment of HDR students alongside our activities.
Oh, fantastic. So people might want to keep an eye out for opportunities.
Absolutely. There will be so many opportunities coming up, both
brilliant.
At this institution and at the other partner institutions. And one of the really exciting things about our research program moving forward is that nothing will be housed at one node alone. There will be buy-in from multiple nodes to help inform the research trajectory.
Wonderful. Now, in terms of the influence, obviously the influence here is on how families might make decisions, but there's also the policy space as well. What are you thinking about in the policy space?
So there's been a lot of outreach already, where we have been approached by people wanting to know whether we could offer an early childhood translation on some of the work that they're doing. So I think that there's recognition in the public arena already that we have some insights that we can offer to early childhood. But I think that the very nature of our industry partners will launch us into that translation and policy space as they're thinking around what the findings of the research program will mean for curriculum, for policy decisions, for opportunities for Australian families.
Now, you've already done quite a lot of research around the digital child, I suppose, in your own research work. But in thinking about families and the sorts of simple guidance that you could give families around that digital space, I know we've spoken before about this, but just some simple things that families should be thinking about when they're making these decisions. Obviously, you're saying this before, a great deal of this new research is being done, but we have had significant research in this space.
I think what's really important is that the child is at the forefront of the decisions that we're making. So there's some really great opportunities in the technology space, as in other spaces, for things to really support the learning and the opportunities for children. So I think that's really important. I mean, COVID has shown us the importance of technology for connectivity with people that would otherwise have not been possible.
Yes.
So I think the child at the forefront is always what we're arguing is the most important. Surrounding that is the context within which the child is situated, and ways that we can build and create opportunities otherwise not available is also important. And I think we're also really mindful around the content, so what it is that children are exposed to, and what that means for them in terms of their social and learning trajectories.
And what about that co-engagement of families with children around technology.
Absolutely, and we've had a concerted effort at UAW here for a while, looking at the nature of interactions when they are mediated, particularly adult-child interactions when technology mediates the experience. And we've got lots of ideas around what quality might look like in those, and we'll certainly be bringing those understandings to the work that we do in the centre as we move into new areas.
Now, what about the longitudinal study? I noticed, as you said, that's around about 3,000 children within Australia. What is that actually going to be looking at?
So that's 3,000 Australian families. So we'll be looking at the children, but also their siblings and their family structures.
So that will actually be more than 3,000 children?
It will be.
Yeah, okay.
It will be. And the centre has a 7-year lifespan, so it'll be looking at what's happening in those families over the 7 years. So we'll see some tremendous growth, I think, in terms of the ages of the children, but also, the opportunities that are available to them, particularly in the technology space. So that's being led by Karen Thorpe, who's at UQ, and she has a person in each of the nodes that will support her with that work. So CI Dylan Cliff is taking that responsibility for us here at UIW.
And what sorts of things will they be focusing on? So thinking about what the opportunities are for children up ahead, but about different ways of engaging with digital technology?
So, it's still under development at the moment, but there will be a lot of mapping around the opportunities and the experiences that Australian children encounter. Also some hopes and anticipations for what the future might hold for them. And I think the real strength of any longitudinal work is that regular check-in with the participants to build the whole picture.
Yeah, and as you said, it's multidisciplinary, so it's looking at all aspects of the digital child and their place in the world. So
Absolutely.
That will be really exciting. So if people want to find out more about the Centre of Excellence, what should they do?
So we have a website. You can subscribe to our newsletter and get regular updates around what's happening. And the website's regularly updated with all the new materials and the new activities that are going on in the centre. Fantastic.
So really just watch this space. It's going to be evolving.
It will.
And there will be some really exciting things happening. Over what period of time? You said the longitudinal study is over 7 years, and what about the centre itself?
So the centre is funded for 7 years.
Okay. And I anticipate that it will go on for much longer than that as well.
Well, we hope so. We've all been working in this space for some time already, so I don't imagine it's going to end at the end of 7 years.
Very exciting. Thank you, Lisa. Looking forward to hearing more about it.